Let us consider answering another problem in this video. So we have here a question asking for, is there a significant correlation between age and the mean score in the level of satisfaction of the respondent? So just like with other hypothesis testings and inferential statistics discussed, let us also follow hypothesis testing in answering this question. So step one, we have to state the null and alternative hypothesis. So our HO states that there is no significant correlation between the age and the mean score in the level of satisfaction of the respondent. So this is again an example of two-tailed hypothesis testing. Well, for the alternative, there is a significant correlation between age and the mean score in the level of satisfaction of the respondent. So initially, we are going to set our level of significance into 0.05 or 5%. Possible tests that we're going to use Pearson-r or Spearman-rho, simply because so we are going to consider the preliminary analysis. Our data are age and the mean score. The age that we gathered is the actual age. It is considered at least interval, or it is considered as the ratio. While for the mean score is the interval. So we have two continuous data. So we met the condition number one, or the requirement number one for us to use the test. The scale of measurement should be interval or ratio. Next, the variable should be approximately normally distributed. So let us consider trying to go back to our data to test if this is normally distributed. So this is the data for age and this is the data for life satisfaction. So if we go down and consider the number of respondents, so we have actually 100 respondents. So by central limit theorem, the data approaches to normal. And then let us check all other requirements. The association should be linear and there should be no outlier in the data. So to do that, we are going to consider let us select our data and try to check the scattered diagram. So let's select age and level of satisfaction for the sum and click scatter, click this one. So our data is scattered. Let's consider trying to figure out what if we're going to select the sum only. Insert, scatter diagram, and check. So we do have actually a lot of data here that it doesn't show that it is linear or not. But anyway, let us try to figure out now what will happen if we still use the test. So for the preliminary analysis, we are sure that the scale of measurement should be interval. We are also sure that it is approximately normally distributed. But for the association, so it is a scattered. It seems like it's unclear if it's linear or not, because if it's linear, then we either have an increasing graph or a decreasing graph that forms a line. Let's generate the result. So using the Microsoft Excel, we can use data analysis, and then let us locate regression. or rather correlation, and then click OK. So input range. So let us select these two. And since our data is separated by columns, then make sure that columns are columns here is checked, then click OK. Oops. So our R value is equal to 0.077502. So this is our R. R is equal to 0.077502. So let us copy this. Paste it here. But this does not answer the question, is there a significant correlation? So to check if there is a significant correlation, we need a calculator, online calculator to do that. So let us open online statistics calculator or quick statistics calculator and locate the test wherein it will provide us with computation of the probability of the Pearson-r. So let us check in the list. This one, p-value from Pearson-r score. So click this. So it will ask us the value of r, and this is already computed. So we will just place the value of r here, 0.077502 or 5, and then n is equal to 100. Then after that, click calculate. Level of significance is 0.05. So the p-value is 0.44342 and the result is not significant. So let us copy the p-value. The p-value is equal to 0.44342. For decision, we're going to accept HO. And for the interpretation, you can actually fix our table now. So variable age and the variable life satisfaction. And the value of R. Let's add another column. So for the Pearson-r, then the other one is for the p-value. So let us place here that the p-value is 0.4434 while R is 0.0775. The value R is equal to 0.0775. So we can use this table to interpret what is the meaning of this. So we actually have +1 and -1, perfect correlation. So if it's a positive or a negative, it only indicates now the type of relationship. So if it is positive, it means that there is a direct correlation, wherein as one goes higher or it increases, the other variable also increases. So there is a direct correlation. While if the correlation is negative, it means that as variable increases, as one variable increases, another variable decreases. So if it is 0, it means that there is no correlation. The computed value is 0.0775. So referring it here, it is actually very near to 0. It even did not reach 0.01. 0.0775. So it is a very weak linear correlation sheet. So when we check for the scatter diagram, we actually found that it is really questionable that there is a linear correlation. So by computing now for the value of R, so we found that there is really no significant correlation. So we can state here that there is a very weak correlation. So we can also say here that there is a very weak positive correlation between the age and life satisfaction. The result also shows that the correlation is not significant. So we can place the value of P 0.433. And we can also place here as a support the value of R, which is equal to 0.0775. So the result also shows that the correlation is not significant. If we're going to use the computation using quick calculator also for the value of R, let us also try to use this just to compare the result. So using the quick statistics calculator, Pearson correlation coefficient calculator, so we just of course need to copy and paste our data. So let's say that let's copy the value of X. Our X is the age. It's the independent variable. And where is our calcu? It's here, Control V. And then let's also copy now our sum. Okay. Then paste it here. Then click calculate R. So it will give you an initial analysis. So this is the same generated values using the Microsoft Excel. It will also show you now the detailed computation if you're going to use manual computation. And so it came out that the value of R is 0.0775. So it also includes here, again, an initial analysis saying that although technically a positive correlation, the relationship between your variable is weak. So the value of R, if you want to compute the value of R, or rather R squared, I mean, you can just get the square of the value of R, and that is 0.006. So for further tests that you might want to consider here, you might want also to check if our age influence the level of satisfaction. However, since there is a very weak correlation